to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Frank's been the highlight of my life. Like,
What kind of dog is he?
he's a puddle.
Okay.
Adorable.
Okay.
Love him to death. Actually, fun story. First of all, I want to, now that we're like into the show,
Yeah.
into the timeline of the show, I want to apologize. We just needed a mental break.
A lot of stuff going on.
Couple of weeks. That's why I've been trying to share the clips that we've got. And, you know, but we're back. We're better, mostly.
We needed a show to. I think the two of us.
Yeah, I missed you, dude.
Today.
Yeah. But the Franklin thing, it's funny. For Easter, my youngest brother, who's 12,
Yeah.
he found this seller and like you know, artist or whatever online who can take pictures that you have and turn them into pillows.
Oh, no fucking way.
So he turned, it's in my bedroom. I don't know if I have the time to just run in there and get it right now, but he turned like my favorite picture I've ever taken of Franklin. It's like this majestic thing. He's just kind of looking at the window. It's late at night. You can see his little BG dog tag there. He looks amazing. And Sammy turned that picture into a pillow for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible.
It made my Easter.
I bet. I love that. That's
it was that, and then I got like a hockey Easter t-shirt.
Yeah.
With like a goalie mask with bunny ears.
Wow.
That was a fun holiday, for sure. So we are officially like in off-season mode for at least us.
Yeah, for at least the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Which is why I'm wearing my personal, you know, breaking up.
Oh, I didn't see that it was a 9.
No, it's a 9.
I don't know. I kind of just looked up like slightly and I saw like the outline. So I just figured it was your Bjorkstrand jersey. I figured it was.
Nope. It's me, baby.
Nice. My favorite player.
I want to do one last Kepi for the season. And then I want to look at the chart really, really quick. And then we'll talk about the season. We'll talk about the exit interviews.
I have an idea. Okay, for it.
I can't remember who.
2 Kepis.
Okay.
1 for the most recent games.
Okay. Yep.
2 Kepi for the season.
Kepi for the season. I like it. Okay. I can't remember who went first. I was going to watch our last show.
Here's how we'll do this. Okay. One person's going to go first for most recent games. The other's going to go for season. Rock, paper, scissors to decide.
Cool. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay. Yeah. We'll just do the one. You're up.
Did you do rock? I thought you did scissors.
I did scissors. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. So I'll do, you can go first for Kepi for the last couple of games.
You sure? All right.
Because I want Kepi for the season.
Okay, fair enough. My Kepi for the last couple of games, pretty easy, honestly. The new kid that I want to stick around.
Yeah.
Blank's getting it.
Blank's has been good, dude.
He's been. I texted you those pictures. I can't remember who had the tweet, whether it was like Notori or Caitlin at Bunker Blue or somebody, Danny, one of our girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you exactly, I was like, this is the most adorkable shit since Calvi and Doobie and Cam.
You're right. I love it. Just
first couple of points like already,
but just
to finish the year and just a huge boost of morale, right? Like just the smile that this kid brings.
But just the play too. He's looked good. Like he's legitimately good. Like he could very much play consistently next year. maybe even in the top 4.
I mean, that's one thing is, they got to offer him another contract.
Mm-hmm.
But
again, he's going to be an RFA.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that makes.
Oh, is he restricted? Okay, I didn't know that. I thought he was.
Well, if it's off your ELC, you go into restricted free agency.
You're just restricted off the bat. Okay, I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. By the way, quick note: I'm on Ohio's on a tornado watch until like 9:00, so I'm gonna be checking my phone a lot for that.
Yeah, tornadoes.
Tornado season.
We don't get those at Buffalo. We just get shitty weather and snow.
You just get rain and shit. It's rain and shit.
So I think it's pretty easy. As much as I love blanks, I'm gonna go with Bjorkstrand.
You're doing for the season though.
Well, we're doing for the most recent games, and then we're doing season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you wanted a back and forth, but
yeah. So
anyway, it's been a while. We're rusty. We're just blabbering. Okay.
So Bjorkstrand, goal and 2 assists against Edmonton in the 5-2 win. Next game they lose 4-1, but he's got the only goal. Next game they win 5-2. He's got a goal and an assist, and then finally to end the season they lose 5-3 to Pittsburgh. He has a goal. Career
high in goals. That's my dude.
Yeah. He was incredible in the last several. He did a 4-game goal streak. Some assists in there. He was really good.
And again,
it sucked that they couldn't win that last game. I know that it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but like I said, it's just about ending that
PPG curse, right?
Yeah. Even if it's just a game that doesn't really mean that much, it would have been really nice for that team to go into Pittsburgh and find a way. And I understand that they gave that game to Berube, and he did not have the start he wanted to. He gave up 3 goals on 8 shots.
Poor JFB. Yeah.
Elvis came in, if you take when Elvis was in net, the Blue Jackets outscored him 3-2, and Elvis played well. But at the end of the day, I think what we discovered in the last stretch is that, they know that Elvis can handle the workload.
Right.
And they also, I think, know that JF Berube is not the backup of the team.
I mean, sure.
It sucks. I like the guy. I don't mind him as like a third guy, but
no
backup.
He's a good stopgap, and you said this the last time we had a show. He's a good new Thiessen.
Yes, he plays that role well, where he can start some games in Cleveland, help another guy like Tarasov along in his development. They also have Jack Greaves down there.
Wait, I thought Jet was in the E.
Well, I'd imagine for next year that Jet's going to be with the Monsters is more so where I'm getting it. So if you wanted to keep him in that role to work with Jet, then that is a possibility as well.
Right.
He could help him along. I like him in that role. And I wanted him to at least get a shot. It seemed like he kind of got a little bit of a shot to maybe, get a chance at the backup job next year. But I just don't think there's enough there to justify it.
Unfortunate, but Bjorky's
great. He deserves it.
Oh yeah. I'm a little biased, but I've got a little bit of a personal bias.
Just a little bit.
We all have my end of season. This one's hard.
I have to go first.
I'm trying to think about mine though, because it's really hard. I have a feeling I know who yours is going to be.
Okay, let's do that. Do you want to try and guess who it's going to be?
Try and guess? Actually, now that you say that, I feel like it's a toss-up between 2 dudes for you.
Okay. You got to put in an official guess.
Put in an official guess. The guy who's going to get paid.
Oh, so you're going to talk about Patrick Laine?
I think that's who you think.
You would be incorrect.
Oh.
I am not going to go with Patrick Laine as much as I love him.
I mean, come on.
11 goals, 37 assists, 48 points, 87 projected WAR percentage. I'm going to go with Zach Werenski. Year
Very
in and
nice
year
pick.
out. Don't get me wrong, Pay Lione, he's a great player.
Please do, Yarmo, please.
But he's not the best player on the team. The best player on the Columbus Blue Jackets is Zach Werenski.
Zach, it's funny, and we'll get into it with talking about exit interviews and stuff, but he's taken steps every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And these last few, even though with the seasons being shortened and everything, his steps are huge strides over the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, he's blocking more shots. He's really good on the power play. He's good at even strength. His defense took a dip this year, as did a lot of defensemen on the Blue Jackets. And to be fair to Zach, he's never been a liability defensively, but he's never been stout either.
No.
His strengths lie in how good he is in transition and in the offensive end.
Mm-hmm.
His value, his best defense
is his offense.
Is his offense. It's in his transition game. It's his play in the offensive end. It's his ability to help the Blue Jackets push play up ice and not be in their defensive zone. That's he's so consistent year in and year. So he came in the league in 2016. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is now his 3rd season. He has exactly 11 goals.
Yeah. Well, it's so
half of his seasons he has 11 goals.
Wow.
The other seasons 16, 20, and then 7, but the 7 was last year
in 56 games.
Well, and in 56 games, but he also had the injury, so it was only 35.
Oh, right, too. Yeah.
So, and you can make the argument based on 7 goals in 35 games. If he were to play
56, that would make
it'd probably be 11, maybe 12, maybe 13, but it's about the same pace.
About the same pace, yeah. And that 20, he led the whole league in terms of defenseman scoring goals, and it was just it
was the 2019 season. He had 20 goals,
and
21 assists along with that for 41 points. I like the player a lot. I'm glad we're building around him. He is my most valuable player. And that's the other thing, Jake, is when, for this, I'm going MVP. So I'm going actual most valuable player. What player, if the Columbus Blue Jackets lose, are they impacted the most? Losing Patrick Laine sucks because he scores.
It's just lethal. Yes.
He's such a threat. He gives more space to other players because you have to worry about him. No doubt about it. But there is no player on the Blue Jackets whose impact is felt more without their presence than Zach Werenski, because of how good he is in transition, in the offensive zone, and just how many minutes he logs. He's playing half the frickin' game every season.
Again, we'll talk about it. And I hate cutting you off like that, but I got to get
I was ending anyway, so it's perfect.
End of season. I'm kind of torn, but because I know, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna go with Mersley. I'm gonna go with Elvis.
Really?
Because, dude, I watched, and this will transition us into a whole season recap and the exit interviews and things. I watched his exit interview.
That was hard.
I watched all the exit interviews that that are posted on the app. Just everything surrounding his narrative. And I mean, we went, earlier on in the season, we talked about how when Dennis posted his video about, is there a goalie war? No, there's not. It's Elvis's net. And we knew he had a narrative and Corpy kind of didn't. But at the same time, yes, that narrative kind of carried him through this season, right? The trauma that he suffered over the summer, which, they ended that video on. It's still heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
But he was able to use that and carry himself. And eventually he was able to shake off, like he said it in his, Yarmo said it in his availability, that he didn't know. Yarmo did not know that the cannon was giving Elvis anxiety for the first few games.
Yeah.
The fact that he had to shake off the rust of even just hearing the cannon go off.
It's a tough thing to go through. Yeah, they didn't consider it. And I don't blame them for not considering it, because I feel like that's something you just don't think of. But it's really unfortunate he had to go through it. Everything was incredibly sad about it. He also had to play behind one of the worst defenses in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of cards stacked against him.
He had a lot going against. It was his first time pulling a full starter workload.
Mm-hmm.
He played 59 games.
Yeah. And he would have played more. He was hurt for a little bit too.
Yeah. But he, this was his first year of carrying the burden. And when he came out in his exit interview, he was able to still express how much guys like, obviously his teammates and Manny being like his father figure, going through all of this, Brad, Lars being right there. Having that support system to just carry you through the trauma that he himself, obviously the whole team felt it, but like, you got to imagine being Elvis in that situation and being right there in the incident, right?
Yeah.
And then being able to use that as fuel to get you through a full 82 game season and just know that this is your new family now.
Yeah.
I know I went more of like a sentimental route with mine, but
yeah, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think
Elvis deserves this.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel for him in a lot of ways, because none of us remotely understand what that's like to go through.
We all go through, different kinds of grief in different ways.
Mm-hmm. But his was just one of the. I remember when it happened. It was just
it was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's been almost a full. It's weird too, because like we're sitting here. It's May 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
It's been not only almost a year since that accident. Keep in mind, it's also been a year since we started this show.
Yeah, it was
June. It was like mid-June, around the expansion draft, where we started this show.
Oh, God, that's crazy. Yeah.
And then not long after that, the tragedy happened.
All right, I couldn't remember
because it was July 4th.
After. Yeah. God, that's crazy, man. It just. Wow. This poor guy. And there's no timetable for when you get over that.
No, there's no timetable for any grief.
Exactly.
And it, comes and it goes. And
I'll say this about, in terms of just his actual play, goals saved above average. So, I mean, just a description for anybody. It's the goals that a goalie prevents given save percentage in shots faced versus like the league average save percentage on the same number of shots.
Mm-hmm.
It was 0.6. So essentially, he played just slightly, nothing significant, but he basically played the way that he was expected given
right
shots he was facing on a nightly basis and where they're coming from.
He played well when he had to show up for the majority of his starts, and that's the gig.
I don't think he had a bad season.
No.
He's finished with a 907 save percentage. He had a 914 save percentage at even strength.
Which, even strength is like some of.
He's a good goalie.
He's
a lot going on that just, he, like I said, the best way to describe it is cards stacked against you.
And you never really get over that.
Yeah.
At least with the off-ice stuff, you never really get over that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so Columbus finishes the year. Just off of your prediction, they finished 37, 38, and 7.
Yeah.
Just under 500.
Just under.
Fuck. They had a negative 38 goal differential.
Boone.
God. Oh, okay. Speaking of Boone, the exits. Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
I love.
Do you know what Lars reminded me of with that?
God, when Lars started crying. Oh.
He reminded me of Dan Campbell.
Did he really?
Yeah, when he was crying, I think it was after like the Ravens lost, where like Justin Tucker hit like the crossbar from like 67 yards out, something just absolutely ridiculous, and just he's just like, man, this team, I'm just so proud of them, how hard they play and stuff like that, and that's kind of how he was going at it with Boone, just the emotion from a coach who I think, from what I've been able to tell, really wears his heart on his sleeve.
Pride and heartbreak as soon as Boone came up and told him.
Mm-hmm. And I love that from a coach, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about how it works for longevity, but at least for the present, it's a good coach to have to try and build something with. Because even when you're not the most talented team, you're getting the most out of your guys because they come to the rink every night ready to battle for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's trust.
Well, there's also trust there because of the longevity that Lars has had in the growing with players in this organization.
And not to mention, Jake, like a lot of Blue Jackets fans were critical we're criticizing the decision, like, why Brad Larson?
We kind of did too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we did
at the beginning.
I absolutely was criticizing the decision. I said it wasn't an exciting one. It doesn't rejuvenate your fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about what kind of success you're gonna have. But Jake. We're now seeing it after a full season. We are now seeing exactly why the players in the locker room wanted this guy to be the head coach. They trust him. Well,
he said it himself, right? His was the longest media availability out of everybody's. Obviously, he was there for over a half an hour.
Yeah,
for about a half an hour. The biggest thing that I took from his interview was the matter of growth as a team, growth as a coach, growth as individual players, growth as management, growth as a fan base, growth as a culture.
Yeah, 100%.
This season, while being a rebuilding season, reestablished the faith that this fan base has and the culture that this fan base has built.
Yeah, and that's another. I think that's another reason why they wanted to keep it kind of in the locker room with Lars. Going from Torts to Lars, is because they seemingly built a culture that they like.
What? Oh God, 40-minute time limit. What? Hold on. Excuse me. 40 minutes. So sorry about that. Zoom kind of hit a wall.
Anyway,
we were talking about Larson and how much the topic of growth right?
Yeah, the players trust him. There's clear growth under him. Yeah, I loved what I saw.
Yeah. I thought literally, I thought a lot of players took strides. Patty became Patty again.
Yeah.
And despite injuries and his own tragedy of losing his dad, he was exactly a point per game.
Yeah.
Total return to form. And I'm pretty sure this is his first like point per game pace, isn't it? His career. He's only 24.
I feel like he had like one other one.
Yeah. Maybe. But I mean,
stats.
Points, the breakdown is Voracek with 62 and only 5 of those being goals. That is like the
Yeah, it's his first ever time point per game. The other time he was close was 2017-18. It's 70 and 82, and then two seasons later he had 63 and 68. That's the season I was thinking of, the 1920 season.
But yeah,
still, well, actually, in 2020, 2021, he had 3 points in one game with the Jets. He was actually a 3-point per game player.
He was a 3-point per game player. Voracek leading the team in scoring with 62 points and only 5 of those being goals is like the funniest thing to me because one, we've said that this is exactly what they paid him to do.
I'm not sure they meant only scoring like, what was it, 6 goals this season?
5.
I thought he had one in the last.
He may have, but it's like it's the lowest goal total that anyone's ever had with like 50 plus points in a season.
It's just such a hilarious stat line.
And then my guy, number 28 with 57, second in points, and then Patty right behind him in 56. Oliver led goal scoring with 28, Patrick 26, Boone 23.
Yeah, so Voracek had 6 goals, 56 assists.
And then, yeah, 56.
He's at exactly 800 points.
Good for Jake, eh?
Yeah, how about that? Good
coming back home and hitting a milestone.
And he's got 2 more years on his contract. If he stays the next 2 years in Columbus, he'll hit 900 with us.
Yes, love it. Jake obviously led the team in assists by a wide margin.
Really? Who's second? Let me guess who's second.
Go for it.
Is it Z?
It's Z.
Yeah, I figured.
Guess how many?
I think I just saw it. Was it like 35?
37.
Okay, so yeah. So the first is 62. Second,
you would be. You guessed the third highest assist total.
Probably Line.
Gus Nyquist.
God, 35. Damn. Okay, Gus.
And then
he would not have been one of my guesses. So damn. Wow.
And then leading in plus minus was Gabe Carlson with +6.
That's a depressing fucking stat right there.
And Sean Corrali, and then like 3 other players are all.
What was Sean Corrali at?
+2.
Well, he played most of the season, so
he did. Actually, was just shy of his first like 80 game season.
Good for him, dude. Sean Corrali had a really good season for us.
Local kid coming home and just playing hard. And he said that in his own exit interview, like coming home meant something.
Yeah. The career highs in just about everything, right?
Yeah.
Career high in games played at 77. Career highs in goals 14. Not a career high. It's second highest point in his career with 16 assists, but career high in points at 30. Career high in penalty minutes of 61.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention about Gus statistics wise, real quick. Him and Andrew Peak, the only 2 guys to play in all 82 games.
Wow. Damn.
Can I just say good for Peaker?
Wait, Gus played in every game?
As far as I'm aware, as far as I heard from
that's
the team.
No way.
As far as I heard from the team, let me see. Let me actually double check this. Yep. 2021, 2022, 82 games, 18 goals, 35 assists for
Coming
50.
off of a surgery where he missed an entire damn.
He played every single game.
That's impressive.
And again, him and Peak were the only two dudes to do it.
For better or for worse, uninjured Peak. 15 minutes, 52 seconds is a career high in average time on ice for Sean Corelli as well.
Power
What a
play
season for him.
Power play goals. Ollie had 9, Boone had 8, and Patty had 5.
Yeah, Patty would have been number one if he was healthy.
Patty would have been number 1. Yeah, of course he would. Shorties, Gus 4, Robbie 2, Tex 1.
I think they kind of, at least for the most part, will kind of debunk a little bit of a narrative about Line A being a power play guy. You know, he's good on the power play, but he's almost kind of got that Mike Hoffman reputation. Obviously, people think he's better.
Where he's a one-trick pony? Yeah.
Yeah. No, this guy does it, 5-on-5.
Well, this guy does
extra attacker, power play. Like he can do it anytime.
Well, Patrick also does way more than, way more than we all think he does, because he even came out and said it. Lars came out and said it. Jarmo came out and said it. He's good on both ends of the ice. He's worked really hard at, using his offense as his defense.
Yeah, he's never going to be a darling analytically, defensively. He's just not.
He's no Dougie. No.
He's not a liability the way that he used to be.
He's,
more than anything, Jake, it's just effort. You look at the two guys in Winnipeg, Scheifele and Wheeler. It's like, good God, there's no fucking effort. It's not that they're bad at defense. You can be a guy who's not great defensively. Liney's not great defensively, but there's effort.
There's effort out of the other guy on that line, the Michigan product off of that line.
Yeah.
Kyle Connor's the only one that shows really any effort on that top line.
Yeah, and even then, he's not great defensively, but still, at least he's got some fucking effort. If the other two could, show any interest in playing defense.
I was going to say, yeah.
Be a better hockey team.
That's what really kind of did him in. I know I'm still just spouting off statistics or whatever, but the difference between Z and Vlad in time on ice per game is actually pretty stark.
I figured as much because, Gaz been second pair for most of the season.
Z's average time on ice, 25:39.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it'd be higher.
I kind of thought it'd be higher too, especially because these last couple of games, he's been pushing 27, right?
Yeah.
Gavs, which Vlad had, awesome offensive season.
Mm-hmm. He had a really good year.
Very, very good year, points wise. 22-17 for Gavi on average. And number 3, Andrew, 21-28.
Let's say this. Lindsay on, in the Twitter Spaces thing for the Blue
Patty's
Jackets.
number 1 fan.
Yeah. Well, she asked a very, very good question. She was like, what's the realistic thing that you want the Blue Jackets to do this offseason? Can it be small? Can it be big? And I answered her. I said, most people's response is going to be, well, you got to pay Patty.
Right.
Obviously I think that should be number 1. The one thing that we should not underlook that they need to do this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta lock up Vladdy.
They do.
Long term.
You need your shutdown guy.
I love his game.
And he can be that.
I want him to be a Blue Jacket for life.
How many times have both of us, more specifically me, compared him to Muzzin this entire season?
He's a really good player. I think he could be that player.
He's exactly the kind of, he's exactly that kind of player, and that's the kind of player they need on their second pair.
Yeah, you need a player like that. And God, I think we should maybe use this as an opportunity to transition into some playoff talk, don't you?
I do want to.
Boston was great last night.
Jake's been awesome, dude. Oh my God, I'm surprised I didn't.
So here's my first question to you. You did a bracket. I did a bracket. Do we want to kind of go over our brackets?
I do. I think that would be fun. Something.
We don't need to dive into it like too deep.
No, not really.
We can do our predictions round by round for first round, and then we'll go over the rest of our brackets and say who our champion is. I think that's a good idea.
We'll do that, and then I do want to mention one last Jackets thing.
Of course.
Because we've been excited about this since yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a little taste that most of you people know what it is. And yes, I'm using your term, Dennis. You people. I watched his video on why I hang out with you people, and I was like, okay, this is classic Dennis. Shout out to our guy.
Yeah. Love you, DK.
Love you, DK.
Where do we want to start with this?
I kind of want to start in the West just because when I was filling out my bracket, it defaulted me to starting with the West.
Same here. I'm fine with that. Do we want to start just at the top, like as far as the bracket's concerned with Colorado, Nashville?
Yeah, let's just read them out.
Okay. I have Colorado at 6.
I have Colorado in 5.
Yeah, I don't know why. I kind of get the feeling that so do you remember a couple of years ago where the roles were flipped and Nashville was like the high up team and Colorado had just
was the underdog?
They were like a good team, but they lost Varlamov and they had freaking Jonathan Bernier in net. Then he got hurt and they had Andrew Hammond in net.
Oh, the Colorado Hamburger run.
That series went 6. And I don't know why, Colorado's a better team. I think what's going to happen, the reason I have it in 6 is I think Colorado is going to blow Nashville out of the water for 4 games and then get stonewalled in 2 of them. It's not going to be a close series, but it's still going to go 6 or something.
No, this is not a close series at all. The way that, because I read in the game day threads, because the SDPN is doing, threads for every round and threads for every game, obviously. Colorado's starting completely healthy. They're going to have Nate Mack. It sounds like they're going to have Gabe back, which they really need Gabe.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm them, I think I would keep Gabe out for a little bit because I don't think you need him against Nashville. And
you don't need him, but
more rest and get him more healed up for the second round. But I do understand that they maybe wanting to get him into a rhythm, but that's
obviously they have Mikko. My biggest issue, because Cale Makar and Nate McKinnon are going to carry the burden for this team. Colorado is going to go for as far as Nate and Cale are going to carry him. And Darcy, because let's face it, Darcy Kemper is another huge X factor for this team.
Honestly, this is why they acquired Darcy Kemper.
Mm-hmm.
Darcy Kemper's been a very good goaltender for a long time on a lot of bad teams.
Yeah.
We're going to put you on a good team now. Let's see what you can do.
Gosh,
I think
you're giving me Coyote flashbacks. Ugh. Coyote Kemper.
I think So Colorado in 6.
5.
All right.
The biggest reason why I say 5, yes, Dutchie and Joey had, huge years for these guys. Roman Josi,
so good.
God, Josi for Norris.
Philip Forsberg, really good player.
Phil is
Tanner Jeannot.
Tanner's really underrated in this rookie race.
He's
it's Siders to lose, but Tanner, we really needed to talk about Jeannot.
No, it's going to be a pain.
It's going to be a monster. I love
it to play against in the next 10 years. He's not going to be on the same offensive level as a prime Corey Perry, but the Corey Perry that we've seen this year, the one who scored 19 goals, he's a little better than that offensively, but he's same kind of mold of player where he's just he annoys the living shit out of you.
Thunder.
I think you know what I think Tanner Jeannot is the player that the Predators thought they were getting when they traded for Wayne Simmons, a couple of seasons ago.
I think so. I think you're right. But getting away from my point, with UC Saros not being in for the first 2 games,
I don't know if he plays.
I don't think Dave can do this, though. I don't see Big Save Dave being able to do this. You know,
it's just the best nickname ever for a guy that
a career backup.
Everybody is so convinced that he can't do this, and yet we're all still just like Big Save Dave.
I mean, because he does show up like in big moments.
Here's the thing. He shows up in the most pointless times.
Exactly, but they're always spectacular. Right?
Yeah. That's why I picture this for 6, because if it's Dave Riddick for 6 games in the series, like if he plays every game, I could totally see him getting lit the fuck up 4 times, but also having 2 weirdly ridiculous.
I really only see him stealing the 1. It's just
That's fair enough. But for some reason I see him taking a second one and it's like, what the hell is up with this guy?
Dude, how can you stop McKinnon and McCarr just flying everywhere? How can you stop that?
It's a good question, Jake, but this is a team that hasn't gotten to the conference final with this core.
I mean, yeah, their biggest issue is getting past the second round. This is no problem.
Yes, I know, but
don't take any opponent lightly, obviously, but like this shouldn't be that much of a problem.
Right, no, it shouldn't be. But the question of how do you stop them? They've been stopped before. I think they could stop him for 2 games.
For 2 games. But yeah, mine's in 5. Minnesota and St. Louis.
I'm intrigued to see what you think about this. What do you have?
About this one? I'm saying 7.
Yeah.
And I'm saying the Wild.
I have Blues in 6. I like the decision they made. And I'm not just saying this because got a shutout last night, but from the start of the game, I was like, love that they're going Ville Husso here. He has earned this.
Yes, he has. Ville's definitely earned it.
Blues are such an underrated team.
Ryan O'Reilly, Tara's back to form.
Tarasenko's back. Rob Thomas. Gordon Kyrou.
Can I mention that
Parayko, Justin
Falks had a resurgence, eh?
So good, man. They're just, and not to mention, man, I mean, the power plays converting at a 26.5% clip. Their penalty kills at 84.4%.
Ryan O'Reilly leading the way like he always does.
3.77 goals per game, only 2.86 goals against per game. They're a really good team.
The Blues are one of those, they're a few years out that, their leash is getting further from their cup.
Mm-hmm.
But they trust Berube. It's Ville's net now.
That's going to be an interesting situation in the offseason, what they do with the goaltending.
Between Ville and Jordan, yeah.
I like Ville, man. I've said for the last couple of weeks, like, I'm not sure what kind of contract you give Ville Husso if you're a team in free agency trying to get a goaltender. But if you're the Blues trying to hang on to him, I'm fine with you spending the money because you know how he looks behind your team, behind your system, with your coach.
I was going to mention that there's this underrated players article that we'll probably end up talking about next show and like diving into more. Yeah. But Robert Thomas is on that list.
He's unbelievable, man.
He's been so good.
And we didn't even mention David Perron. He had a hat trick last night. And did you watch the game?
Dude.
All 3 goals were identical.
I mean, I was working. I couldn't watch any of the games, which was sad. I was stuck in the back.
So all of them, one of them was 2 of them were power play goals. The other one was a goal that happened like 1 second after the power play.
Alan Walsh client, David Perron.
Yes. They work the puck around, get the puck to the middle of the slot. They get a shot on net, and he's right there for the rebound on the back side. All 3 goals were on rebounds where he was on to Fleury's right, and he put it like past his blocker.
Another Alan Walsh client. Hey.
Maybe don't mention Alan Walsh client while we're talking about him giving up 3 goals to a player. But
It's funny because they're just both his client. It's like, ooh,
Dude, they just Minnesota. That's my biggest concern. As I mentioned, the power play and penalty kill for St. Louis, which are both pretty good.
Mhm.
That's my concern for the Wild. Power play percentage is 21%, which isn't bad.
No.
But penalty kill 75.8%.
Ooh, that's
Going
tough.
against a team that converts at a 26.5% clip is not a good matchup, and it showed itself last night. Not to mention the Blues, higher goals per game than the Wild and a lower goals against per game than the Wild. Like, I like this matchup for St. Louis. I like St. Louis a lot.
The Wild are just one of those teams, though, where again, it's like Colorado. You have your few young main guys, right? You have Kirill, you have Matt Boldy being like out of nowhere.
Yeah, Kevin Fiala is really freaking
Kevin
good.
Fiala.
But also the guys who've emerged. Ryan Hartman, Frederick Gaudreau, those guys.
Since when was Freddie Gaudreau like a middle six forward?
God, he's really freaking good.
Marcus leading the charge.
Yeah, 100%. There's other guys. Matt Zuccarello. He's been doing this forever.
Zook's been doing this forever.
Gordon
Greenway.
It's like that's a really good roster.
Really talented roster, and
that's the thing that sucks. I could see either of these two teams going on a run, and boom, first round, have fun against each other.
But they're all, we talk about Minnesota's forwards. Their back end, Jared Spurgeon just got a fine for.
Yeah, but Spurgeon's a hell of a player.
Spurgeon's the perfect captain for them. Matt Dumba.
I think he embodies what the Wild do really well.
Yeah. Brodin.
Mason as a coach.
I don't like the faces Evason makes at times.
But I don't know, man. Jonas Brodin, I like Jonas Brodin a lot.
Love me some Brodin.
And obviously you get Flower. You want some experience.
Flower and Talbot.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. And now, granted, you lost 4-0. I didn't have a problem with how Fleury played yesterday. No. He played fine. He had a save on a penalty shot. The goals he gave up, I don't have a problem with any of them because they're all rebounds in front that Minnesota didn't clean up. There's a lot of cleaning up that they got to do. I like Minnesota as a team, don't get me wrong. I just like St. Louis more.
So you have St. Louis in 6. I have the Wild in 7.
Yes.
I think that's pretty fair. Calgary, Dallas, the one that, because everybody thought it was going to be Calgary and Nashville and then, Colorado, Dallas.
Yeah. Out of us real quick.
I have Flames in 6.
I have Flames in 6 as well. I like Jake Onger a lot.
I love me some Otter, and I love what that top line is doing. Jason Robertson is a revelation.
He's so good,
amazing. Man. Joe Pavelski turning back the clock. Yeah. Rope Hintz having himself a hell of a bounce back year.
Yeah.
And then you have.
And now that we're talking up the stars and the players that we like, we're now going to explain why they're going to lose in 6.
and it's Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin not showing up.
Well, and it's not just that. I mean, this is a team that's got a lot of playoff experience.
Yes.
One, it's a very old team. It's old and inexperienced at the same time. It's old, but also you got Jake Onger in that. And I like Jake Onger, but it's going to be his first time in the playoffs.
Well, it's Onger and Wedgwood as your tandem.
I'd imagine you go with Onger for.
Well, you're gonna ride Otter.
Yeah, you're gonna ride Otter. But I mean, I just then you look at another team that's perennially underachieving, like the Calgary Flames. But
when they don't have expectations, they go far, and when they do have expectations, they fall flat.
And here's the difference between this team and previous Flames teams.
Daryl Sutter returning.
Daryl Sutter is their coach.
Yeah, it's weird because
there's not a better coach suited for postseason hockey with that team than Daryl Sutter.
Is that not the weirdest thing that he took them all the way to the final in 2004 and now he's there again and they're just dominant as all hell? Yeah. Again.
And here's the thing: we talk about how much we like Jake Onger, and we do. Jacob Markstrom.
Yes. I've loved me some Jake Markstrom ever since he was in Vancouver.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, you want to talk about a guy who was a little bit of a late bloomer. He was he the 31st pick?
He was the Panthers. Yes, he was a Panthers pick.
In that Luongo trade, and you took him and he was drafted, I think, in 2008. He's been around for quite some time.
He's 1 year.
He broke out in like 2018. It took him almost a decade to finally truly break out, but he's one of the league's best goalies.
Yes, absolutely. And then, what do you do? What the hell do you do against 2 100-point wingers and an 80-point center in one of the best top lines in the entire NHL? In Tkachuk and Lindholm and Gaudreau. What do you do?
Everybody is rightfully going to be looking at those three. Do you know who I think is going to feast in this series?
Luch, Backlund.
Andrew Mangiapane
is
going to have a field trip with this series.
Nice little paisan there.
Oh my god! Oh, he's going to make.
He's a spicy meatball. That one,
dude. He's such a good play. And you want to talk about a guy who's built for playoff hockey? His 200-foot game.
Yes.
That guy's going to be a monster to play against.
Backlund's going to be perfect defensively.
Yeah, Backlund's been doing this for a while too, man. They got a really good team. Tyler Toffoli.
Oh yeah, they're big.
He's done some things in the postseason before.
How did we totally forget about Tyler Toffoli?
And then on defense, I mean, Chris Tanev. Yeah,
the Calgary Canucks. You remember that show?
Yes. Noah Hannafin's really good.
Rasmus Anderson's on that underrated players list.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Calgary. But also, like, and you mentioned him briefly. Playoffs. Milan Lucic is going to be a pain he has to play against.
Dude, imagine like your first shift, you go up against Matt Tkachuk, and then your next shift, you're up against Luch.
They're not going to be fun to play against.
No.
I don't care how good of a team you are. Calgary is not a fun team to play against,
especially with Daryl Sutter behind
him. Yeah,
because
especially with how
I don't know what it is about this, like
that. It's just
it just a brand recognition thing? Is it just like what is this about Daryl Sutter specifically and specifically coaching the Calgary Flames?
He's just a match. He's a match that lights the Calgary Flames.
We're back, baby.
All right, so Kings Oilers.
This one's fun. The Gretzky Bowl.
Yeah, these two teams have met a lot in the playoffs.
Well, it's funny. We talked about it the last show. This is their first time doing this since like the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. But like the 80s and 90s, they met quite a little bit.
They did. I have Edmonton in 6.
I have Kings at 7. And I have Kings in 7 because it's not. I do like LA.
No, I like LA's chances.
I like a lot. Jonathan Quick's done this many times in the postseason. He's as reliable as ever. Their top 6 is really good. You got guys like Kopitar, Brown, Victor Arvidsson. Trevor Moore's been really good.
Trevor's been awesome. Iafallo is going to be. Iafallo and Kempe are the guys to stop.
Yeah.
Kempe is
really great. But more importantly than anything, Jake, I fucking hate Edmonton's roster construction.
Well, we know this.
I can't trust them. And I also, what Mike Smith are you getting?
What Mike Smith you getting? You're right. But I mean, okay. Speaking on the LA side of things, Phil Deneau having a career year, he's going to be Phil Deneau. He's going to do his thing. And we know exactly what he can do in the playoffs. If he can do to Connor and Leon what he did to Austin and Mitch last year, they're in for a hell of a time. Trevor Moore again, and guys, like I said, Kempe, Iafallo, Byfield. They don't have Doughty, and then they scratched Victor for like the first game.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Not 100% sure about that, but
he was told he was going to play. And he did.
I'm not sure if there's any lingering injury there or anything like that. I'm not totally sure. But God, I'm looking at this lineup. I see a lot that I like about it because it's the perfect mix, Jake, of young and old. You know, you still got Anze Kopitar and Dustin Brown.
This is Dustin's last hurrah because he's retiring at the end of this run.
Quick, obviously. Those guys reign supreme in the locker. Alex Edler too, I think, is an underrated part of that equation.
Good veteran
Even
presence.
Though he's never won a cup, he's been around forever. He's been in the playoffs a lot, been to a cup final.
Edler has to fill in big shoes with Doughty not there.
Exactly. Well, I think Jersey does more of that than anything.
I mean, Jersey will offensively, but like leadership quality wise, that's Edler.
Yeah, so leadership for sure definitely goes to Edler. You know, Deneau, they brought him in for a specific reason. This is a guy who knows what it's like to play in the postseason. He just did it.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, they're young as hell. Mikey Anderson, Blake Lazard, Arthur Kaliev,
Anderson Dolan.
Jordan Spence. You know, granted, there hasn't been a lot of playoff experience for a guy like Andreas Athanasiou either.
Right. Yeah.
And still,
did they bring up Turcotte for this?
Don't believe so.
Don't believe so? Okay.
No. But and then you also got a guy like Trevor Moore, who has gotten a little bit of experience with the Maple Leafs in the playoffs, but he's been really good for them.
Trev's been really good over there. Yeah.
So like it's that perfect mix of like these guys. There's several guys.
It's weird because like all the pieces that they got from the Leafs in the Campbell and Clifford deal are in one way or another going to contribute. Trevor Moore, Sean Durzi, and I assume Grunstrom's going to get something.
Yeah. I want to talk about a balanced trade. That trade did wonders for both sides.
That was actually a really, really good trade for both sides.
It's not very often where you look at a trade and you're like, usually if you look at a trade and you're like, I'm not sure who really won this, it's usually because it's like, this didn't work out for either side the way that they envisioned. It's kind of
this is the opposite.
This is a deal that I look at and I'm like, I don't think there's a clear winner. I think both sides got exactly what they wanted out of it. And I think it benefited both of them tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
But I like LA a lot. But, God, Edmonton, I just can't trust them. You know, and Connor was great last night. Leon was great last night. Kyler Yamamoto was great last night. And it still didn't fucking matter.
I think because you have, you know, they have a little bit more. They don't have as much like defensive depth as they should.
They're fucking trotting out Duncan Keith and Cody Ceci.
Well, yeah.
Like 20 minutes a night.
Obviously, that's not going to work. They don't have Lagesson anymore either, which hurts.
Yeah.
Bouchard's going to get thrown to the Wolves.
And I like Evan Bouchard, but he's still a young guy too.
It's really like you look at it's really up to the forwards to carry this load. And you have.
And I just don't like that in the postseason.
I'm assuming
if you're an imbalanced team for postseason play, it's better to be better defensively than it is to be better offensively.
Well, maybe they can maybe they can try to pull a Florida regular season out of a hat in the postseason.
I don't think that's going to work against LA, to be honest with you.
We'll have to see, right?
Well, we'll have to see.
Because we already know the playoffs have started. Some of the series are already underway.
Yeah.
But this is just, we're giving our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
We're just starting.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, well, fun. I think it's a really fun time.
In the East. You ready for the East? This one's gonna be fun because it's funny. We knew that these guys were decided for since like January.
Yes.
It was only a matter of seeding. Mm-hmm. But seeing these playoff matchups, I love these. I love these. I've got Panthers, Caps. I've got Florida in 6.
1 second. Oh, I have Florida in 5 actually.
Okay. All right. My biggest thing with Florida is obviously Bob needs to be Bob again. Bob needs to be the Bob that he's been all year.
Yes.
And can this 80s hockey thrive in 2022 like it did all year long, right? Because scoring's been the highest it's been in over 30 years, or about to, like over 25 at least.
Yes.
Right. So can the Panthers really video game nonsense this first round, right? But the reason I have it in 6 is don't discount what the Caps can do. Don't discount Ovi. Don't discount Tom Wilson. They brought Marcus Johansson back. The biggest issue with them really is, Sammy. It's the same thing in Washington that it is in Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's the goals.
Yeah. There's not. I gotta be honest with you. I personally trust VTech more than I do Samsonov. Now, it's not a significant difference.
No.
I still don't really trust VTech, but
Vanacek.
I think Vanacek is more consistent and a little more reliable, but Samsonov
had the better record and better statistics.
Well, I think he's got more of that shutdown potential.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, there are some goalies who can have an average season, and then they get into the postseason and they're just like that.
It just clicks.
Great.
Yeah.
We've seen that with Carey Price at times.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think it's that level, but who knows? Maybe that happens with Samsonov. But I just that's the thing.
Dude,
I don't trust these goalies.
Huberdeau, Barkov, Duclair, Reinhart, Sam Bennett's your third line dude. Carter Verhaeghe.
Sounds like they're getting
Claude Giroux. They're gonna get Aaron back, yes, soon. Ekblad,
I think he's playing game 1.
Is he gonna play tonight?
I'm pretty sure I saw that he was going to play game 1, and so is Ovi.
Good. Oh, this will be fun.
Dude,
your top line.
I think the games are going to be closer than people think. I'm not trying. This isn't really anything against Washington per se. I just don't think it's going to be a long series.
I still think it's going to be a shooting gallery out of Florida.
It is. I think ultimately we're going to see that this kind of style of hockey is not sustainable in the playoffs, but I don't think the Capitals have enough to
stop the waves.
Yeah, to counter it.
I mean, like I said, your first line is going to be something akin to Verhaeghe, Barkov, Giroux, and then you have Huberdeau and Bennett or Reinhart and like Marchment or something, or usually Duke.
Oh
right?
My God, it's just
this lineup. These forwards are so stacked.
This is unreal.
It's literally like you're playing franchise mode in real life.
Yeah.
Bill Zito did the goofiest fucking thing.
It's just every move that he has made that has seemed a little wacky has just worked out perfectly.
It's just worked out so well. Then remember they got the bouncer pair with Girard and Gudas.
And even that pair is good.
Yeah, that pair can do things.
That pair working? Like, why is this working? There's got to be some voodoo magic or some shit that they're doing. That's making that happen. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, they're definitely they are the favorites in the East, absolutely. But they're not my cup pick.
They're not mine either.
Toronto, Tampa. I've got Leafs in 7.
Yeah,
I gotta do the damn thing, dude.
I got Bolton 7, and here's the reason I had Bolton 7. It's nothing against the Leafs. If the Leafs are going to win this series, it's going to be in 6 or less.
Really?
Yes, because good luck in a game 7 against Andrei Vasilevsky.
That's true. That's very
all
true.
it is. That's all it is. It's nothing against the Leafs.
We're recording this the Tuesday after game 1, and obviously Toronto
And
shut them out and blew them out of the water.
Hey, Jake, because I had the opportunity. I watched that thing from start to finish. That's the best hockey game I think I've ever seen the Toronto Maple Leafs play my entire life. I'm not sure I've ever seen the Toronto Maple Leafs play a more complete game than that. From second one to, the last second of the game, they were miles ahead of Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
They were so much better than Tampa. And that's why they are probably going to lose game 2. Because good luck having that happen again.
No, yeah. Tampa's going to come out swinging for sure. Because we know what Tampa can do. They're the back-to-back.
Tampa, they're going to get back to they probably got back to that locker room, and John Cooper, who's an unbelievable coach, probably looked at them and was like, you know what? We're going to burn the tape. We didn't have it today.
That's it. Yep.
That's for game 2.
That's a Tortorella moment. Burn the tape. Yep.
Burn the tape. Because here's the thing. They don't really need to worry that much. If they win game 2, then they got the momentum on their side with the tied series going back to Tampa.
Well, you got to remember that this roster also isn't that far removed from anything, especially because their first cup had, Goodrow and Coleman, and they replaced those just fine with Hagel and Nick Paul.
Hagel's going to be a really good player. He hasn't done much yet, but good God.
Nick Paul has been.
Jesus. So you talk about a guy who's going to get paid this offseason.
And then Stammer leading the way just fine.
Dude, this is the best season Stammer's ever had.
First 100-point season he's ever had. But I know we were gonna talk about that in depth on a later show, but dude, this is his first 100-point season ever.
Which is crazy because he had a 60-goal season at some point, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Meanwhile, that's Austin's now.
He didn't have 40 assists in there. That's kind of wild to me.
Meanwhile, that's Austin's now.
Yeah, and Austin was great.
Austin's lights out still.
So good last night. Mitch was great. Kerfoot was great. Everyone was great. But
my beating heart Mitchum.
Nothing against the Leafs. I like the Leafs. I don't think that they, as far as this team is concerned, have a significant issue as far as roster construction anymore. I like this team.
This team is built just right.
I cannot in my heart pick against the team that's won back-to-back Stanley Cups. I like what the Leafs are doing, but I can't justify not picking that team. You know what I mean?
The voodoo, for me, it's just the voodoo's got to end at some point.
It does have to end at some point.
And I think this is the year that it can end.
And it might end this year. I would not be surprised if they did what you're predicting. But for me, it's one of those situations where I'm just like, I can't not pick Tampa to win.
You're very, that's very, very valid. I understand it. And it's funny too, because now Tampa has Corey Perry after having to face Corey Perry for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
If you can't beat him, join him, right?
That guy hasn't won a cup in 15 years. He is he is hungry for one.
And then you got, gosh, on the Tampa end, it's still funny to me that your third pairing left shot is still Mikhail Sergachev.
Yeah.
The fact that he is still on that third pairing.
Okay. Mikhail Sergachev has now played 70 career playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
He's 23. What the fuck?
I want to tie up a loose end before we switch series real quick. Last week, I shouted out Cthulhu for their jersey bet.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, buddy, you did the right thing. Just, forget the formalities of the statistics and, rest up or whatever. He capped off at 97 points. Cthulhu got the jersey anyway.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, Cthulhu went ahead and got it because, Mitch would have hit the 100-point mark if he played, but he did the right thing to rest up.
I'll defend you for a second on your prediction of Toronto winning. Do you know another reason why I think Toronto could win this series?
Go for it.
Guess who's back in the lineup?
Muzz.
Andre Kasha.
Oh, Kasha. Yes. Kasha was huge.
And dude, he just brings an element that team so desperately needs, especially in playoff hockey.
It's going to be interesting.
He's a good freaking player.
It's going to be interesting what they do with, game 2 tomorrow with the. Did Clifford just get his fine, or did he get a suspension for a game or two? I don't know if that hearing's come out with results yet.
I'd imagine that he's not going to be suspended. And the reason I say that is the same reason that Steve Dangle gave, is because it happened so early in the game. He kind of already got a 1-game suspension.
Yeah, that's true. There was a shit ton of fines. Mm-hmm. I watched the LFR for that earlier today, and that just the amount of penalties in that entire brawl.
Good God, that was, yeah.
Riley, what happened to Mo? His wires crossed. Mo's wires crossed, Bush's wires crossed, and he punched a ref. Supposedly.
If you're a Maple Leafs fan, is this not exactly what you want to see from your team? Some bite. We're not going to get pushed around this time.
We talked about the killer instinct that they need, and I think they found it.
I think they might have it. I seriously wouldn't be surprised if they found a way, if this is the year they found a way to get past the first round. I personally can't go against Tampa at this point, but man, I
think they can do it.
I think they have it in them.
I think both Florida and Toronto can do it, because they're both teams that are, snake bitten.
Yeah. Well, I think Florida
get out of the first round.
Yeah.
Next one, we're going to try to make these quick and just breeze through the rest of the brackets, because we've been running long on the first round stuff. Carolina, Boston. I've got Canes in 6.
Okay.
I know Boston's run their show.
Interesting.
Season, but
I have Canes in 7.
Oh, hey, we agree on one.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I do think it's going to go 7, but
because Boston never really goes.
Carolina's a better team. They're so good, and I was impressed with Antti Raanta last night. He was great. The one goal he allowed was behind the net, comes out in front, perfectly placed shot from Taylor Hall. No issues there. He was really good. I honestly didn't have a problem with how Linus Ullmark played either. He did not get much support. I would imagine that Boston will come back for game 2. They'll be a lot better. They'll probably win. I'd imagine the series is going to be tied 2-2 after 4 games, and then it might just go home team wins.
Could do that if the Canes can steal one and, pull off the 6er. That'd be fun. And I think they can do it because they just got all that skill to do so. Yeah. They've got all the skill, and they've got the best defensive defenseman arguably in the league in Jacob Slavin.
Bullshit. Risto better. No, Slavin's unbelievable. I think the best.
Slavin, Bear, and friggin' Tony D's kept his nose clean for the most part, which is really good to see.
Tony D's. Here's the thing,
can we go back to the West for a minute? So is Evander. Both of these guys that are really problematic guys have really kept their nose clean.
Yeah, they've kept their nose clean, and there's never been a doubt about how they play. They're both great players.
Oh yeah. I
do think the best defensive defenseman in the National Hockey League is Charlie McAvoy, but still, you get some good defensemen in this series, like you just mentioned with Tony DeAngelo and Jacob Slavin, Brett Pesce,
Ethan Bear.
Ian Cole's pretty good too.
And then on the Boston side, you got Grizz.
You got Grizz, you got McAvoy, you got Lindholm.
That's right. They do have Hampus Lindholm.
Yeah, they got Brandon Carlo.
Carlo's been awesome.
I like these teams a lot. That's the thing when I was going through like my bracket, just thinking like, man, I like both these teams. It's a shame that one of them is going to go in the first fucking round, but that's how a lot of these series are.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of teams I don't like as far as how they're constructed. You know, everybody knows I hate Edmonton, but as far as the East is concerned, there's not really too many that I'm like, yuck.
Right, exactly. The East is really fun to just, yeah. And then the last one in the first round, Rangers Penguins.
Yeah.
This is actually, let me take a look at this. I think this is, in terms of seeding, this is my only upset.
Yeah, I got Rangers in 6.
I have Penguins in 6.
I looked at the head-to-head, and I saw a team as great as the Pittsburgh Penguins are, absolutely stonewalled.
Well, yeah, during the regular season, they couldn't.
The one time that they beat them was a 1-0 win. They only scored 1 goal in their 1 win against them this year.
That's the biggest thing, right? Is for the Penguins, it's really, for me, the reason why I picked them is, it's a lot like Washington, where this could be one last hurrah for guys like Sid and Gino and Letang, specifically as a core, which, by the way, Chris Letang had a crazy underrated season.
Offensively, yeah, he did. He's still Chris Letang. But it's just, I don't know, man. This was a tough one because it's like, on paper, okay, take goaltending out of the equation.
Yes, because we know
which roster do you like more, the Pittsburgh Penguins or the New York Rangers? And we're including coaching in this too.
Including coaching, that's also really tough too, because you have really good head coaches in Gerard Gallant and I like Sullivan.
And Chris Kreider had a great year.
Chris Kreider had over 50 goals.
And Mika Zibanejad and
Adam Fox. Andrew Kopp's been amazing.
Keandre Miller had a really good year. Improved a lot defensively.
Capo and Laugh.
Frank Petrano was really good.
Capo and Laugh still kind of need to find their way.
But it's the Pittsburgh Penguins.
It's the
Penguins who are the better team. However, and this is nothing against Tristan Jarry, who I thought had a really good season. And honestly, I'm not even considering last year. Everybody's talking about like, oh my God, he melted down. Guys, let's not call a guy a playoff choker with 7 fucking career playoff games under his belt. Let's chill a little bit.
Right,
there.
exactly.
Tristan Jarry's fine. But Igor Shesterkin's that fucking good.
Igor's literally, we've talked about him all year long in terms of how this should be his Vezina to lose.
Right? I don't even think Vezina's a question. It's Is
it? I mean,
he's got that locked up. It's how well is he going to do in the heart? I don't think he's going to win.
No, we both still say Austin. Yeah, this is Austin's to lose for the heart, but
good fucking Lord. My God, this guy's unbelievable.
Igor's got a 935 to finish the regular season. And that was after a slump. That was after a slump where he was pulling off like a 950 to start 2022 for like over a month.
Here's the thing. This is one of those ones. You pick Penguins in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. If the Rangers were just completely ineffective and Igor was good, but it's not good enough to save him. This one's one of the more unpredictable ones.
Yeah, this one's definitely, it was a toss-up for me, but
because I don't like how either one of these teams matches up against the other one.
Really, the biggest reason why I picked Pittsburgh was because they're not going to go down without one more run for these guys.
That's the other thing. That's the other reason I hate picking against the Penguins, because the Penguins will always fucking prove you wrong.
Exactly.
But it's like, what am I supposed to just go against Igor Shesterkin? Like, what am I supposed to do?
All right,
all I know is neither of these teams is getting past the second round.
No,
in my opinion.
Breezing through the rest of the bracket, then I'm just going to read mine.
Yes,
I have Florida over the Leafs.
Okay.
Sadly, I just want to see both of these guys make it past the first round.
Sure.
And as much as I love my boys in blue and white, because they kind of took that second spot from Chicago for obvious reasons. It's just Florida's a wagon.
Yeah.
And then the other second round in the East, I have Carolina over the Penguins.
Okay.
I want to see that happen. I just want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
My Western second round is Avs over Minnesota and Calgary over Edmonton in a battle of Alberta second round, please, people.
I didn't even think about that. That would be fun as fuck.
That would be so much fucking fun.
Okay.
And then my conference finals are Avs over Flames and Canes over Cats.
Interesting.
Canes over Cats. Yeah.
Who do you have winning the Stanley Cup?
I have Colorado over Carolina.
Okay. I was going to say, I was like, because we almost had the same winner. So I have Tampa beating Florida again.
Okay. Battle of Florida would be fun.
Yeah. I have Carolina beating the Rangers.
Okay. Because, yeah.
I have St. Louis pulling off the upset against Colorado.
Oh.
I have Calgary bleeding,
bleeding,
beating the Kings, and then I have St. Louis over Calgary, and then I have Carolina beating the Tampa Bay Lightning. So,
Carolina beating the Lightning. Wait, in the conference final?
Yes.
So okay. I was like, wait a minute. That sounded like your Stanley Cup final. I was like, that was last year.
No. The St. Louis Blues versus the Carolina Hurricanes. And I have Carolina winning it all. And the reason that I did is because they were my preseason pick. So
okay. So you're sticking with them the whole way through.
I'm sticking with them the whole way through. I have questions about them in net, primarily just around health. But if they stay healthy in that area, whether if it's Ronta or Freddie Anderson, they're a good team. And Rod Brind'Amour is such a good coach.
Rod Brind'Amour is a fantastic coach. I love that subtle oh my God, words. Subtle little Sutter Bowl that you have between Calgary and LA.
Yeah. And let me tell you, man, I like the Flames a lot. I did consider putting them into the Stanley Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
I think that series would go 7 if it were to happen, Flames versus Blues. But I'm telling you, man, I love the Blues and how they're constructed. That's a good team.
They're a really good team, but I just see the firepower in Minnesota this year. And
You can go either way, man. All I know is these matchups, dude.
All these matchups are some of the most.
These playoffs are going to be fucking good.
This is going to be some of the most entertaining, unpredictable hockey we've seen in years.
And it's like also this is the first time in a couple of years. All these teams full attendance.
Everybody full attendance. Everybody packed barns.
Playoff. I turned on Carolina versus Boston last night, and I was like, all right, playoffs are going to start. And I was like, I was like, kind of doing some homework, and I was like, I'm not really that interested in this game right now, but like, I'm just going to put it on. And then like within 2 minutes of just the whole energy of the building and these guys hitting each other, I closed up my laptop. I'm like, I will do homework later. I am
full attention.
All in. You have my undivided attention.
Okay. But yeah, this is like this is one playoff where literally all 16 could do anything.
Honestly, there's probably only 2 teams, I would say 3 teams I think that can't win a cup. Really? I don't think Washington can do it. I don't think Edmonton can do it. And I don't think that Dallas can do it. I'll throw Nashville in there too. 4 teams. Nashville can't do it either.
I'm trying to hold on.
There's 12 teams I think that could win a cup. Jake, would you be surprised if the LA Kings went on to win the Stanley Cup? Sure they
No.
wouldn't. You would predict, but God, it would just be, Jonathan Quick goes on another run. Well, God, haven't we seen that before?
I wouldn't be surprised if Florida made a run of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto actually made a run of it.
Oh, dude, if Toronto beats Tampa, and
they're going on a run if they beat Tampa.
If they face Boston in the second round and they beat them,
they
would win. If they face Boston in the second round, they beat them. Go to Vegas. Take out take out a second mortgage on your house,
dude.
I bet every penny you've got on the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup.
Beating one demon after the other.
Yeah.
If you get past the first round demon and then you beat the Boston demon,
it's over. There's not a team that would stop them at that point.
No, this is gonna be the most fun playoffs I think I've ever been a part of. Like just as a fan.
Would you be surprised if the Penguins went on a run?
No,
of course not.
Hell no.
God, are you kidding me?
You're never gonna bet against Sidney Crosby.
Fuck no. We're gonna talk about a winner. God.
Okay, we've talked about this way too long, even though I'm having way too much fun with this. I
disagree. I think we talked about it.
We need 2.5 hour show.
I'm fine with that.
Oh man. These guys made a huge signing the other day. I think it was just yesterday that it broke. Our own Kirill the Thrill is coming.
I am so fucking excited about this kid.
Kirill Marchenko signs his entry-level deal. Let's go, baby.
So this is a guy who was good winger, right-hand shot, 6'2". He's 21 years old. Has played in the KHL last couple of seasons.
Let me make this. Oh my goodness, where are you? Where is it? He played for St. Petersburg, right?
Yes.
This past year. Okay. Let me just
last several years.
I'm trying to double check his elite prospects page.
I have it pulled up right now.
Oh, you already have it? Cool.
1920 season in 31 games for SKA St. Petersburg. 16 points in 31 games.
Not bad, half a point a game.
Yeah, 2020-2021 season in 41 games for them. 15 goals, 13 assists, 28 points in 41 games. And then this past season, he had 12 goals, 8 assists, 20 points in 39 games for them. He's a good player. That's one of the top, leagues. I mean, KHL is like the second best hockey league outside of the National Hockey League.
Yeah. Depends on when he comes over. He's going to spend some time in Cleveland, I would think, just to get used to North American ice.
Probably, yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention off the top of the show when we were talking about like the end of the season and all of this, Larson said in his presser, we have to get better. That could mean losing some key guys we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 key guys that we know want to try and stay, and I believe are going to do their damnedest to stay, Gus and Patty. They've both said how much they adore this city.
Yeah. I think Patty is going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
There is a significantly higher chance that Gus Nyquist is not a Blue Jacket than he is one next year.
I mean, only one way to find out.
Yeah. And I understand why people would be upset about that because they like him. You played in all 82 games.
Perfect fucking leader this year.
But he's only got 1 year left on his deal.
Mm-hmm.
He is aging.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really a core part of your future. See what you can get on the market for him in terms of prospects, or maybe even a guy who's not fully developed but ready to make the leap on defense. Right. If there's a kid out there that a team's willing to give up that is, just itching for a chance to play in the top 6.
Don't you kind of,
22, 23, 24 years old.
Kind of already have that in blanks though, don't you?
You do, but I don't think you can have too many.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Usually, guy, because here's the thing: like as far as defense is concerned, my opinion for this team is you can never have too many defensemen because you need to get the best 6 defensemen out of this group.
Yes.
You already know that one of them's Z. You know, one of them's Gavrikov.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Blanks is probably going to end up being in there.
Blankenberg can stay. Absolutely.
You know, you already signed Bean to a 3-year deal, so he'll have 2 years left. So you'd hope that he would be in that, but
this is something that just broke. I just got the notification for this. Cliffy's banned for game 2.
Okay, so I would imagine that Spezza will draw in the lineup then for game 2 because he was not in game 1. But I don't think that's the worst thing because
Bunting can come back too because he's been skating.
Is he going to be available?
I don't know if Bunce was skating extras. He was skating with Austin and Mitch today. So
interesting. I mean, if you can get it back for game 2, then that solves that issue where you can just bump down Kerfoot, Kasha.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Cliffy banned 1 game. Marchenko's coming over. He's got his deal signed. We're pumped for this kid.
I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be really good.
Really want to see him and Chinny get some Russian chemistry together.
I think there's a very high percentage chance that you might have a second Oliver Bjorkstrand on your team.
And Kirill Marchenko?
Yeah.
I love that.
You can never have too many of those guys.
Well, no, you can never have too many guys that do 2 things perfectly.
Yeah.
You can never have too many maestros. That's his nickname, eh?
Yeah.
It's still, I don't know, but I love it, but it's like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of those. They're also playing they're bringing back the Global Series and Columbus is in it.
I'm happy about that. I think a lot of players really seem to enjoy it. And I think that a lot of the overseas guys do too.
Absolutely. I mean,
if you're playing in Finland, I think Patrick Laine is excited about that. I would imagine that Mikko Rantanen is excited about that.
You think Jarmo's excited about that?
I would imagine that Jarmo is as well. So
it's funny because I don't know if we've mentioned this before, like ourselves, but just the fact that like they grew up around obviously different time periods, but Jarmo and Patty growing up like around the same neighborhood in Tampere.
Yeah. It just do you know what's a random moment that I think about from time to time that will make me laugh?
Huh.
No matter how many times I think about it. Is after the Dubois trade when Jody Shelley was interviewing Jarmo and was like, how emotional was it for you to trade a guy that you picked 3rd overall who you like this player, you picked him I think higher than a lot of people expected you to.
Mm-hmm.
You helped develop him, he became a really good player. Like how emotional is that for you? And he's like, it's not emotional, we got the 2nd overall player from that.
Exactly, right? We upgraded.
It's genuinely one of the funniest answers ever.
Oh man, it's hilarious. Oh man, wait. I'm trying to pull up Can this stop being word soup?
Campbell. He had a shot last night.
He did. I'm trying to figure out who's playing who in the rest of the Global Series. Here we go. 2022 Global Series from the NHL website. Here we go. Global Series Challenge in Switzerland is Predators and SC Bern.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense with Roman Josi.
Yeah. They got one in Germany with the Sharks and Eisbären Berlin.
Who do the Sharks have?
That's German?
They're gonna have somebody who's German, right? There's gotta be someone I'm not thinking of right now.
I guess they're technically marketing Hurdle, but he's a Czech, isn't he?
Yeah.
Global Series.
Interesting.
Well, you know what it is? It's because the Preds and the Sharks are playing in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
So that makes sense. Okay, so that's where you market Hurdle.
Yeah.
Obviously, in Prague. And then the Finland game between Columbus and Colorado. and obviously you're marketing Mikko Rantanen and Patrick Laine.
Of course, yeah. Those are. I like that a lot. That's okay. Let me see here. There's got to be one German guy on this team, right?
On the Sharks?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because they wanted to grow more in Germany and knowing that they have like, Stutzla and
because they've had guys, German guys in the past. They had Christian Ehrhoff.
Mm-hmm.
They had Thomas Greiss at one point.
Maybe they might do that for like an alumni thing, invite Ehrhoff.
Yeah, that could be the potential. I appreciate that Marcel Gotch at one point too. So yeah, but no, they don't have any Germans on them, so that's a little surprising. Because I would have figured if you're doing Germany, I mean, you might as well just have Leon Draisaitl there or Mo Seider.
Or Jimmy Stutz.
Yeah, any of those guys would have worked. Sharks just seems kind of random, but
yeah, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
I'm excited. Ellie's going.
God,
I just found out the other day she's
that's amazing.
Going. That's amazing. I hope she has a blast, man. I miss her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen her in months.
It's been such a long time. Because I know I'm still kind of cheesed that I couldn't go to the Ottawa game.
Yeah.
But what can you do? Flyers, Yeo is officially fired.
How does he keep getting jobs, man?
I don't know.
He's just like, you know what? I kind of appreciate what he does because he's a genius in the fact that he will go to any team he wants to as an assistant, and anytime that coach gets fired, he gets promoted to head coach for the rest of the season, and he always sucks, but he always gets paid a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of amazing.
Okay, so I'm just reading back. I'm trying to find all these notes and stuff for everything, and I do see that Ovi is going to play tonight. So Ovi's going to play. Yeo's not expected to return. He went.
His record was hilariously bad.
60 games after Vigneault fired. 17, 36, and 7.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for Cam and all of that. Cam and Carter Hart.
Yeah, you want to know a team that is just incredibly bad.
And this was a team that was bad on accident.
Yes, that's the worst part, dude. Chuck Fletcher sucks at his job. He's not a good GM.
Fletch and hey, keeping a classic Wild duo together, and Fletch and Yeo.
Oh my God, they're just that is a mess.
It's funny too.
I don't know how you mop up.
Earlier, I was reading one thing where it was like, Fletch didn't know whether they were going to actually fire him or not. They were going to see. They were going to talk it out. And this article that I'm just seeing pulled up is like, yeah, he's done.
Jesus.
And then, fun thing. I want to just mention a couple of our guys that are going to go to the Worlds. Tex and Elvis are going to the World Championships.
Mm-hmm. Just
quick little shout out to our boys there.
Right.
But the other thing is Blashill's out in Detroit as well. He's done.
Yeah.
So the other firing that I wanted to talk about, or at least he's just not coming back.
The second longest tenured coach in the National Hockey League is no longer tenured.
It's crazy. I know Yzerman said, we're obviously grateful for the time that he spent there because, look at what he did to at least try to build them into whatever Yzerman wanted.
He did his best to keep it together while the team sucked and while they were rebuilding. And they're moving on. They're going to try and bring in someone else now as the team tries to get better. Who'd you say?
Who did the Flyers fire?
Oh, I thought you said someone else. Anyway,
no, I said Vigneault.
For some reason, I thought you said Babs. And I was like,
No! Oh God, dude, there's no way in hell they're bringing him back. What?
no, fuck that.
No,
No, yeah.
this ain't coming back. What the fuck? Who do you think I am?
Troll.
No,
Not
that's
that much.
our old buddy Kevin.
Yeah. But God, man, I like the team.
I love what these
They're
Wings
a
are
little
doing.
bit more than a coach away, but
A little bit, but they've got guys like Edvinson coming in.
yeah, and he's gonna be really good. But I can almost guarantee you Blashill's gonna get another job this year.
Ned needs to take another step.
Yeah, he is another guy who did not play in front. He played behind a very bad defense. I think that his numbers will stabilize. They'll get better as the defense gets better. He was in kind of a Merce Leakin situation, in my opinion.
As much as DDK's been a staple, he's got to go.
God, yeah. It's him
Like
and Stahl.
I mean, okay, Stahl was just the one, the one-time thing, but like Danny's been there forever, man.
Yeah, and he used to be a good player. He did, but he's way past it.
He's turned into what
his game's gone.
Who was the other one that was there for like ever? Erickson?
Jonathan Erickson, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely turned more into Erickson at this point.
Uh-huh.
Where he's just like he's gotta be done at some point.
Yeah.
But I do like what these forwards are doing, like Larks is Larks, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You got Lucas up there, you got Robbie Fabry,
Tyler.
Tyler, yeah.
Really good player.
Tyler's a really, really good player. Vrana has been
Jake Vrana. when he's healthy, if he gets a full season, he's a 30-goal scorer easy.
And then in their bottom six, Sam Gagne's been like still cooking.
Well, also look at the guys that they got in the Leddy trade.
The Leddy trade too, yeah.
Because they got they got Sundqvist out of it.
Oh, they did.
I like Sundqvist for their bottom six for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember who else they got in that trade, but they got two pieces that I actually kind of like for the bottom six.
Mm-hmm. Detroit's doing it right. The Iser plan is, you know what I mean? It's funny how you have guys like Yzerman and Shanahan, and you name your, like it's just that catchy, right? The Iser plan and the Shana plan. It's like just
2023 second round pick, Oscar Sundqvist and Jake Wallman. So he's defenseman.
Wallman, okay, so he's a prospect.
But still, I think this is a good trade for them.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing.
I do like what they're doing.
Real quick, do you want to do picks for tonight's games?
Let's end on that.
Yeah.
Really quick.
We don't have to go into specifics. We'll just kind of pick games and have that.
Hold on a second. Let me picks for tonight. Let me just put that in my notes because I do want to address this really, really quick.
Yes.
Chevy's coming back in Winnipeg.
Yeah, 3-year extension, I think you said.
Kevin Cheveldayoff extended for 3 years. Yeah. I don't know what they do with the head coach because Lowry's not coming back. That's another head coaching position that's like,
Dude, okay, so speaking of head coaches, someone's going to get really lucky with Paul Maurice.
Someone's going to get lucky with Paul Maurice. Apparently,
maybe Detroit.
Apparently, Quenneville's trying to come back, which
fuck that. No, I'm sorry, no.
But Blashill's got to get a job somewhere. You would hope.
He'll probably get a job somewhere.
And then Yeo's probably going to get another assistant job, I would think. Same with Terrian, right? Those guys, I think, are more suited to be assistants at this point. But
I think the Jets are screwed.
Yeah, what did they do? Because with Chevy, my biggest thought with them extending Chevy is, do you think he's just going to ride this core out and ride Wheeler and Scheifele out?
That would be a mistake, in my opinion.
Because,
Didn't it sound like in the exit interviews that Scheifele wants out?
I don't know. I didn't watch any
He
of
doesn't. He
theirs.
doesn't come across the guy that wants as a guy who wants to be a part of a rebuild.
Well, no, there are a lot of guys that really never do.
He's only got 2 years left on his deal, but he was talking about like, yeah, like I need to like his. I don't have exact quotes, but I'm not exaggerating when I say that he said something amongst the lines of, I need to think about what's in my best interest for my future.
Oh, best interest. Those are some
Yeah.
tough words.
That is the best way to publicly announce a trade without publicly announcing it.
Yeah.
I need to think about what's in my best interest. Oh, so you want to get the fuck out.
Out of here. Get out of town. I know Wheeler's been there forever.
Yeah.
He's their captain, though.
I don't think Wheeler's going anywhere. I think Scheifele wants to go. And a lot of people are concerned about whether or not Dubois will want to stay long term.
He says he does. He's a lot like Patty, where he's like, he said he saw a future in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's in their best interest to trade Scheifele to try and maybe see if they can help out their defense. Pierre-Luc Dubois can be a top-line center for that team.
PLD can, yeah. I think
he's a good player.
We've seen it, obviously.
The effort is there defensively. I think he could be a leader on that team. I just don't. I'm not a big Mark Scheifele guy.
It's funny looking back at that trade now, too, eh?
Yeah. I honestly think, like, a lot of people look at, like, point totals and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. In terms of actual production, Columbus is out ahead.
Yes.
I don't think it was a brutally bad trade for the Jets, because I think if Dubois is a part of their future, I think he's going to be a big piece in it.
Yes.
And what he does outside of scoring is significant.
Their defense does need a bit of an upgrade, but I mean, they've got Morrissey, they've got Pionk.
And Morrissey had a good season. He had a really good season for them.
What do you do with
Phil DeMello's really good. I like him.
What do you do with Heinola?
Hey, he's young, so I mean, you wait it out with Heinola, but.
And then obviously, they casted Sammy Nuku aside to the Canadians, and then he's like in no man's land now.
Yeah. They got Logan Stanley,
they do have Stanley.
He's kind of a ball of hot air, where he's big, 6 foot, a million. It seems
he's just the new Tyler Myers.
Instead of shooting the puck from outside into people's shin pads.
Dude, he's just their new version of Tyler Myers.
And he is nowhere near as good offensively. They badly need some upgrades defensively. They got to get Connor Hellebuck some help. It's a team that can score goals. You got Nick Ehlers, you got Kyle Connor, Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Comrie had a good year, though, at least.
I'm sorry?
Comrie had a good year.
Comrie had a good year, too. Yeah, 100%.
I know they need to upgrade backup-wise, but, Comrie did have a good year.
No, I'm not saying they need to upgrade behind. I'm not saying they need to upgrade the backup. I'm saying they need to upgrade in front of Hellebuck.
Oh,
they need to upgrade defensively because they can score.
Yes.
With guys like Ehlers and Connor and Dubois, you can afford to trade a player like Mark Scheifele.
You could, yeah.
No, I like Eric Comrie a lot as their backup. I think that's a good duo moving forward for them.
Especially after the baggage that I know Chevy didn't really get as much baggage from the Chicago thing as he maybe should have.
The tough thing with him is there's so much about it that we don't know, and it's really hard to see any connection that he could have had.
Right. But then you also think, can he be trusted to tear this down when he's the one that built everything up?
I would say, generally speaking, I would trust him to do it.
Because he's been there since the beginning.
Yeah, I trust him to tear this down. But it's not just about tearing. It's not like it's got to be a complete teardown where you're trading everything. It's really 2 guys. I think they need to get rid of Blake Wheeler, and I think they need to get rid of Mark Scheifele.
Well, it does. You're right, because it always comes back to these two. The whole reason why they traded Patrick Laine, he wasn't seeing eye to eye with either of those guys at all.
Yeah.
And then you hear about all the rumors about the way those two led the locker room and how it was just like everybody was butting heads.
It is so ironic that they were
they had that party when they beat Toronto or whatever, the weird, which why would you post that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think for them, like, it's interesting that these two guys who are so critical of Patrick Laine and his game play this exact same fucking way. Talk about players when they played in Winnipeg. We're not talking about when they were with other teams.
Uh-huh.
Big, can score goals, and doesn't play defense. It's not just Patrick Laine. Everybody thinks Patrick Laine. Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele played as little defense and as much offense as Patrick Laine did.
Yeah.
Winnipeg's problem isn't, they have a Patrick Laine problem. No, we have 3 Patrick Laines, and you can't win with that many Patrick Laines.
It's also kind of a toxic leadership. It's a toxic leadership problem, I think. Too.
It is. It absolutely is. They do not know how to lead in today's NHL. I think Blake Wheeler would have been a great captain in 2005.
Yeah.
Actually, 2006, because 2005 there was no hockey being played.
But right.
You know what I mean? Like I think times have changed in the National Hockey League as far as how leadership and how people are kind of viewed and how vocal they are. It's more. A lot of captains are more quiet these days.
Yeah, John Tavares never says a word.
Jonathan Toews doesn't say much. Sidney Crosby doesn't say much.
Boone's talkative, but at the same time, it's very,
Yeah. There's a lot of guys who are really good captains who win a lot who are kind of quiet guys.
Well, you don't really need to say much either.
Because it's all lead by example. And it's all just, they're such good captains. They don't have to say anything. It's just an expectation. This is how we do things. I don't have to say a word. And you're going to do this because this is how we fucking do it.
Meanwhile,
that is not the case in Winnipeg.
Blake and Mark are all talk.
Frankly, Jake, if this is how we do things, I don't have to say a word. You're just going to do what I do. Connor Hellebuck would have an .850 save percentage because nobody would be playing defense.
Oh, exactly.
So, you can't have a player like that be your captain.
You buy him out because he's as old as he is?
I don't know. There's got to be some team that would take him, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Big body, right wing, can score goals.
Vegas.
Someone's going to take Blake.
Vegas.
Why not Arizona?
Arizona could.
Add some cap.
Sure.
Why not?
Reunite
Wheeler. Scheifele, so no doubt about
Reunite Wheeler and Ladd. Look at your face. That is like classic Jason Price face. I love it. I missed that.
It's just the idea of Andrew Ladd and Blake Wheeler playing on the same thing. Hey, bring it all the way home. Blake Wheeler was a 5th overall pick of the Phoenix Coyotes.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay. We're going to get into predictions and we're going to wrap it up.
Yes. Okay.
First
game is Penguins Rangers. Rangers win. I'm guessing 3-1.
I'm going to say I'm going to say 2-1 Rangers.
Okay, so we're in the same kind of Capitals Panthers. I have Panthers winning 6-3.
I'm going to say
Stark difference from the other game.
I'm going to say 5-2 Panthers.
Okay.
I really, because again, Rangers Penguins, I can totally still see being like the more defensive of the two for reasons, right?
Mhm.
That we stated in previewing everything. And then Panthers and Capitals, it's gonna be a shooting gallery no matter fucking what.
Yeah.
The only thing is it gonna be like an 80s 7-6 shooting gallery, or is it gonna be a widespread like blowout, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Predators Avalanche.
Preds, Avs. Ooh.
I have Avs winning 5-4.
4-3 overtime Avalanche.
Okay. All right. Flames and Stars.
Ooh, this one's fun.
I had the Flames winning 3-2 in overtime in the most fucking boring game you've ever watched in your life.
Oh my god. Aren't there rumors of Bonus retiring after this season?
He probably should, but just God, Stars, Rick Bonus versus Daryl Sutter. This is going to be the most exciting snooze fest you've ever watched in your life.
American Texas versus Canadian Texas, baby. Yeehaw! Let's go.
Let's go. Who we got?
Oh, I'm gonna say Blasty. I'm gonna call Calgary, and I'm gonna say I'll say 4-2.
Wow.
I'll say 4-2 because we know, dude, that top line, and you know those flames are explosive, and they got hot right at the right time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just don't think the Stars can keep up.
Fair enough.
Do we want to make predictions for tomorrow too, just while we're at it?
Sure, why the fuck not? Let's do it.
Leafs Lightning, I'm gonna say Bolts take this one 3-2 overtime.
Bolts take it 4-1.
Okay.
Bruins Hurricanes.
Bruins Canes.
I got Boston winning 4-3.
Say Carolina 3-2.
Okay. Blues Wild.
Blues Wild. I'm gonna stick with my pick. I'm gonna go Wild, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 5-4 overtime.
I'm gonna take the Blues over the Wild 5-2.
Okay.
And then Kings Oilers.
Kings Oilers. Wait, what? Hold on. There it is. Okay. So the last one was 4-3 Kings.
Take Oilers 5-1.
I'm gonna take Edmonton, and I'm gonna say 3-1.
All righty.
Connor, Leon, Evander. Just have that whole. I'm just gonna make those guesses.
Duncan Keith, Cody Ceci, Josh Archibald.
I forgot they still have Archibald.
Warren Fogle.
Warren Fogle. There we go. That's better.
Derek Ryan. There you go.
Can I just say one more thing? That this is the best I've ever actually seen their center depth, because you actually can do Connor, then Leon, then Ryan.
Yeah.
And then your fourth line is whoever. Yeah. Usually Devin Shore.
You do Connor, Leon, Derek Ryan, and then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Oh, I missed you, brother.
I missed you too, brother.
Okay. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a show Saturday, but I want to try to do 2 shows until the actual off season.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But I don't think I'm going to be able to do this Saturday because I may be going to a baseball game.
Fair enough. Sounds good, Doug.
Cool. And we will see you guys in a week.
Let's go.
It's guys, baby.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.